Today we will discuss about the nerves of the head and neck, mainly the nerves of the neck. First nerve, it is a lesser occipital nerve. Lesser occipital nerve, it is the wind around to the spinal accessory nerve, and it goes on the posterior border of the sternocleidomastoid muscles. It is the ventral rami of the C2 fibers, which is wind around to the spinal accessory, ascend along the posterior border of the sternocleidomastoid muscles, and supplies the skin on the side of the head. So this is the first nerve. It is a lesser occipital nerve. It is a ventral rami of the C2 fibers. The second nerve, it is a great auricular nerve. This is a great auricular nerve. It is a fiber of the ventral rami of the C2 and C3, wind around to the posterior border of the sternocleidomastoid, mainly at the junction of the middle of the posterior border of the sternocleidomastoid muscles. It goes upwards over the sternocleidomastoid muscles, and it crosses the obliquely crosses the muscle and reach to the ear, and it divides into the anterior and posterior branches. Anterior branches supplies to the skin around to the mandible on face, angle over the mandible over the face, and posterior branch, it is the skin around to the mastoid process and ear. The third nerve, it is the transverse cervical nerve. This is the transverse cervical nerve, which goes transversely below to the external jugular vein. It is the fiber of the C2 and C3 fibers. It goes anteriorly, and it is the goes horizontally at the middle of the sternocleidomastoid, deep to the external jugular vein, and reaching to the anterior border of the sternocleidomastoid muscles, and divide into the ascending and descending branches, and supplies the wide area of the skin of the front and side of the neck, mainly the triangle over the carotid region. It is supplied by the transverse cervical nerve. The third nerve, fourth nerve, it is the, here you can see this is a nerve. It is a supraclavicular nerve. This is a supraclavicular nerve. So this supraclavicular nerve, it has a three division. Here you can see this is a supraclavicular nerve, and it is a C3 and C4 fibers of the supraclavicular nerve. It is a ventral rami, and trunk passes underneath to the platysma muscles. We have already removed the platysma here. Most of the, here you can see this is a platysma, and it divides into the medial, intermediate, and lateral nerves. This is a medial, intermediate, and lateral division of the supraclavicular nerve. And medial gives the branches to the sternoclavicular joint, and it extends up to the sternal angle. And the intermediate, which reach up to the second intercostal space, and the lateral division, it supplies to the acromioclavicular joint. So, and supplies the upper and posterior part of the shoulder. It is a lateral division of the supraclavicular nerve. The long thoracic nerve, first we reflect the inferior belly of pomoid. It divides the posterior triangle into the two parts, upper part occipital triangle, and lower part it is a supraclavicular triangle. So the long thoracic, the fiber of the C5 and C6. Here you can see this is the brachial plexus, and the fiber of the C5 and C6 are inside the supraclavicular triangle, and the C7 united into the lower part, and it makes a long thoracic nerve. It is passes behind to the third part of the subclavian artery, and it supplies to the serratus anterior muscles. The nerve 2 subclavius, which is arise from the upper trunk, and the fiber of the this is the subclavius muscle. Here you can see this is the subclavius muscles below to the clavicle, and it is above to the first rib. So it is a subclavius, it is a nerve 2 subclavius, it is a fiber of the C5, C6 downwards in front of the brachial plexus. This is a brachial plexus, and it supplies to the subclavius muscles, and also it is innervated to the sternoclavicular joint. Another branch of the upper trunk, it is the suprascapular nerve. This is the suprascapular nerve. Here we have already removed the inferior belly of omoid. So it is just below to the inferior belly of the omoid. It is a suprascapular nerve. It is the coming from the C5 C6 fiber, and it is goes laterally inferior to the laterally deep to the inferior belly of omoid and the trapezius muscles. Here you can see this is the trapezius muscles, and it reach into the suprascapular fossa through the suprascapular notch, and it's below to the transverse scapular ligament, and it supplies to the supraspinatus and infraspinatus muscles. So this is a suprascapular nerve. This is a part of the formation of the long thoraces, C5 and C6 fiber, C7 which is united into the lower part. Another nerve, it is the dorsal scapular nerve. Here you can see this is a inferior belly of omoid. Just above it, this is the fiber of the C5 root. It pierces to the scalenus medius. This is the scalenus medius. Here you can see just below to the brachial plexus, this muscle, it is the scalenus medius muscles. So this scalenus medius, which is pierced by the C5 fiber as well as the long thoraces, this is a fiber of the C5 fiber also pierced to the, this is the C5 fiber and this is the C6 fiber, and also here you can see this is the suprascapular this one is the suprascapular nerve, and this is the long thoracis nerve. This is the suprascapular nerve, and this is the dorsal scapular nerve which lies inside the it pierces to the scalenus medius. Here you can see this is a pierce to the scalenus medius, and it passes backward, downward, under beneath to the prevertebral fascia and inside the occipital triangle, and it is disappear under cover of the levator scapula, and it is supplied to the rhomboids muscles, rhomboids group of the muscle, rhomboids major and minor. So these are the dorsal scapular nerve. Now I will show you there is a one nerve which is formed in this is a brachial plexus. In front of the brachial plexus, this muscle, it is called the scalenus anterior, and the fiber of the, this is a phrenic nerve. I will just show you the reflect the sternocleidomastoid muscles, and you can see here this is a formation of the phrenic nerve. So the phrenic nerve, which is in front of the scalenus anterior and deep to the external jugular vein, and it is the in front of the scalenus anterior muscles, and it enter inside the thorax. The C3, C4 and C5 fibers are united. It makes the phrenic nerve, and it supplies to the diaphragm. Another thing I will show you, here you can see these are the first of all I will show you, this is the ansa cervicalis. This is the inferior root of the ansa cervicalis, which is formed by the, this is a fiber of the C2. This is the ventral lemma of the C2, and the fiber coming from the C2, and below one, this one is the fiber of the C3, and the fiber coming from the C3 are united. It makes the inferior root of the ansa cervicalis. The superior root of the ansa cervicalis, which is formed by the here you can see this is the superior root of the ansa cervicalis. It is coming with the hypoglossal nerve. This is the superior root of the ansa cervicalis. The fiber of the C1 directly goes along with the hypoglossal nerve, and this is the fiber which is goes along with the C1, and it supplies to the genioid and thyroid muscles. So these are the fibers which is supplied to the genioid and thyroid muscles. Then the superior root of the ansa cervicalis also supplied to the superior belly of the omoid, and the ansa cervicalis itself, it supplies to the muscles of the infrared muscles, mainly the sternothyroid. So these are the muscles which is innervated by the ansa cervicalis itself. So these are the branches of sternoid and sternothyroid, and this is the branch. It is for the inferior belly of the omoid. So it is past. This is the branch which is for the supplies to the inferior belly of omoid, but for the conveniency we have cut it. So this is the ansa cervicalis, superior root, and this is the inferior root. We already discussed it is fiber coming from the C2 and the fiber coming from the C3, and the fiber of the C3 and the fiber of the C4, it is mainly supplies to the trapezius, as well as it supplies to the levator scapulae muscles. It supplies to the levator scapulae muscles. So this is the C2 fibers, this is the C3 fiber, and this is the C4 fibers. So C3 and C4 are united, and it makes the fiber of the C3 and C4 fiber, which is also supplies to the trapezius. So, and also it supplies to the levator scapulae, and this is the spinal accessory now. Here you can see this is the spinal accessory now. It is a very short course, and it enter inside the trapezius, and this spinal accessory, it supplies to the trapezius and sternocleidomastoid muscles. Here you can see the this is the hypoglossal nerve. It is the 12th cranial nerve, and this hypoglossal nerve through the digastric triangle and above to the hyoglossus muscles, and it enter inside the tongue, and it supplies to the muscles of the tongue. The 10th nerve, this is the vagus nerve. Here you can see this is the vagus nerve. It is inside the carotid sheath, and it supplies to the it is the 10th cranial nerve. It is a parasympathetic in nature, and it is the supplies inside all the organ of the thorax, as well as up to the major portion of the abdomen, up to the transverse 2/3 part of the colon. So this is the vagus nerve. This one is the hypoglossal, this is the vagus nerve, and I already show you this is a spinal accessory now. So the posterior belly of the sternocleidomastoid posterior belly of the digastric, it is also called the key muscles, because the all three nerve, here you can see this is the fiber of the spinal accessory, which is supplied to the also sternocleidomastoid muscles. So why it is called the key muscle? Posterior belly of digastric, interjugular vein, common carotid artery, which is bifurcate into the, this is the internal carotid, this is the external carotid artery, and also the 12th cranial nerve, 10th cranial nerve, and the 11th cranial nerve, and inner side there is a glossopharyngeal nerve. It is also passed through it, so that's why it is called the key muscle, for the identification of the structures. This is the back of the neck. We have dissected the suboccipital triangle, but I will show you this is a greater occipital nerve. Greater occipital nerve, it is the thickest cutaneous nerve derived from the dorsal ramus of the C2 and curve upward around to the lower border of the inferior oblique muscle. Here we have reflected this is a trapezius, this one is the splenius capitis, and below to it there is a semispinalis capitis and longissimus capitis. We reflect it, and this is the nerve which is piercing. It is a third occipital nerve. It is a fiber of the C3, dorsal rami of the C3 pierced to the semispinalis capitis and trapezius muscles, and it is innervated to the posterior side of the neck and skull by the third occipital nerve. But the great occipital nerve, it is innervated to the, it is the largest cutaneous nerve. It is the branch of the dorsal rami of the C2. It supplies the skin up to the vertex. So here I will reflect the first of all this is the trapezius and semispinalis capitis. After that this is a trapezius and this is a splenius capitis. and after that this is the semispinalis capitis and longissimus capitis. After that we have reflected. Here you can see this is a dorsal rami of the C2, which is emerging from the lower border of the inferior oblique muscle. This is the inferior oblique muscles, and this is the rectus capitis posterior minor, and this is the rectus capitis posterior major. This is the rectus capitis posterior major. So, and this is a superior oblique. So this is the suboccipital triangle, and these are the fiber of the C1, which is innervate to the all the muscles of the suboccipital triangle. So these are the fiber of the C1 which is innervate to the all suboccipital triangle, and here you can see this is the arch of the first atlas, and here you can see this is a vertebral artery. This is the vertebral artery. This is a vertebral artery over the. So the suboccipital triangle, mainly the fiber of the C1 which is innervate to the all muscles which forming the boundary of the suboccipital triangle. It is a rectus capitis posterior minor and major, inferior oblique, superior oblique, all these muscles which is innervated by the fiber of the C1. Now I will show you, this is the vagus nerve, and it gives the one branch here. It is a branch, it is a superior laryngeal nerve. So this is a superior laryngeal nerve, and this superior laryngeal nerve, it divide into the internal laryngeal and external laryngeal nerve. So I will show you, this is the first nerve. Here you can see this is a nerve which is pierced to the thyroid membrane, and it is the internal laryngeal nerve. So this is the internal laryngeal nerve along with the superior laryngeal artery which is pierced to the thyroid membrane, and this internal laryngeal nerve which supplies inside the larynx, sensory nerve supply to the supraglottic part of the larynx, which is supplied by the internal laryngeal nerve. Another branches of the continuation. Here you can see this is the continuation of the internal laryngeal nerve, superior laryngeal. It is another branch. It is called the external laryngeal nerve, and this external laryngeal nerve behind to the, this is a superior thyroid artery, and behind to it, this superior thyroid artery, this is the external laryngeal nerve, and it pierces to the here at the cricothyroid muscle. So here you can see this is a external laryngeal nerve which is goes inside the cricothyroid muscles, and this is the anterior division of the superior thyroid artery. So this external laryngeal, it is only the muscles which is innervated by the cricothyroid muscles. Just below to the carotid, common carotid artery, another there is a one sympathetic chain. Here you can see this is a cervical ganglion. This is a superior laryngeal, and just below it, here you can see this is a there is a enlargement of the ganglion. This is the enlargement of the ganglion. Here you can see there is an enlargement of the ganglion. So this is the ganglion. Here you can see this is the vagus nerve, and this is the ganglion. So this ganglion, it is make the, this is the sympathetic chain, the fiber of the sympathetic chain. So this fiber of the sympathetic chain which makes the three ganglion, superior, middle and inferior cervical ganglion into the lower part. So these are the nerves which is inside the neck. One thing I forget, this is the external laryngeal. It gives the twing to the inferior constrictor muscles. This is the inferior constrictor muscles, and then the external laryngeal which is pierced to the cricothyroid muscles. So the external laryngeal, it gives the twings to the inferior constrictor muscle, and then it supplies to the cricothyroid muscle. So this is about to the all the nerves which is right now seen inside the neck, inside the neck of the cadaver. Hope you enjoy the lectures. Thank you very much. I will show you the facial now. We have reflect the parotid gland. We cut the superficial part of the parotid gland, and inside the parotid gland the structure superficial to deep are the, this is the facial now, and it is a two division, and this is the temporofacial and this is the cervicofacial trunk of the facial nerve. So this is the trunk of the facial nerve which is coming from the stylomastoid foramen, and it is enter inside the over the just in front of the ear, within the parotid gland, and this is a below to it or deep to it there is a retromandibular vein, and most deep structure it is a continuation of the external carotid artery. Here you can see this is the external carotid artery, and this external carotid artery which is just into the upper part of the parotid gland, it divides into the superficial temporal and maxillary artery. So all these branches of the facial nerve, this temporofacial it divided into the temporal branch and zygomatic branch. The cervicofacial it gives the upper buccal, lower buccal, marginal mandibular, this is the marginal mandibular, and cervical. So all these branches, this is the cervical branches. So it is the innervate to the all the facial muscles which is innervated by the facial nerve. Here this is the superficial temporal artery, and deep to it this is a superficial temporal vein, and deep to it there is a one nerve, it is the auriculotemporal nerve. So this is the auriculotemporal nerve which is secretomotor fiber to the parotid gland, as well as it is the sensory nerve supplied by the auriculotemporal nerve. So this is the auriculotemporal fiber of the auriculotemporal nerve. We have discussed only the structure we have seen inside the dissection. Remaining structure right now we have not seen, so that's why we have not explained the remaining structure. Hope you enjoy the video. Thank you very much.